My name is Chris Lynn Johnson.
My name is Brian Fippinger. I'm 53 years old. I run a consulting firm that does staffing and recruiting as well as coaching and leadership training.
I'm a psychologist. I work with people all day, listening, helping them to figure out what they want to do in the future, and generally have a good time.
I've been married twice before. I was kind of done. Wasn't interested in dating, wasn't interested in ever getting married again.
I grew up in downstate Illinois on a farm out in the middle of the country.
I've published 9 stage plays and a book on improvisation. And I had this idea for a screenplay. And in the screenplay, the lead character was going to be, believe it or not, a female serial killer. But not like, but you know how Bundy did his hunting on college campuses? And each serial killer had their ways of finding their victims. Well, my lead characters would find her victims on dating websites. So I created a couple of profiles on some free sites and contacted some women, probably 8 or 9.
I met Mr. Brian Fippinger after he was very, very persistent in sending me an email through a website, a dating service site, called plentyoffish.com.
On the website Plenty of Fish, I saw Chris's profile, and I saw her eyes, and I saw the smile, and there was something there. And then I read her profile, and there was something there that was different.
A girlfriend challenged me about 3 years ago. She's like, you really ought to write a list of the characteristics that you're looking for. I'm like, not gonna do that. That's like junior high. And one of the guys that was with us, this friend and I, he said, well, you should put out what you offer too. Not just what you're looking for, but what you offer. So I created both lists. I wrote a list of what I offer and what I'm looking for, and I typed it up and I kept it in my journal, and I looked at it probably at least once a week.
And something there that really struck me was the life behind those eyes and the smile. So I contacted her, never told her anything about the screenplay, never told her anything about anything like that. She was the only one that I contacted for a date.
So we met over here at Winbury's on Lake Street and Oak Park Avenue for our first date.
So I wasn't looking, and it was just, she bowled me over. There was just something about her eyes that made me want to contact her. So I did, and after her ignoring me for a little bit, I sent her a second email. She contacted me, and we had a first date at a restaurant in Oak Park.
Dearest family and friends of Chris and Brian, welcome to this special and especially hot day to witness and to celebrate Chris and Brian's commitment to each other. How wonderful it is when two people fall in love, whenever that occurs in life. There is a rush of young love with its sense of urgency and immediacy. It often is marked by the thrill and intensity of a comet shooting across the sable sky. It leaves us breathless, and we are enchanted by not just its dizzying velocity, but by its extraordinary contrast of light against a field of dark. But there is also the falling of love that occurs later in life. Not a comet, but a star. A fixed light that burns slowly and steadily, illuminating us for billions of years. Of course, comets and stars are part of the act of creation, an expression of the moment that the divine presence made itself known to itself in a physical manifestation. And billions of years later, we, all a part of that manifestation, come to celebrate the divine in Chris, joining in the divine with Brian, and we call that marriage. Chris and Brian came to each other a little over a year ago when they were ready. Sometimes we confuse time with eternity, thinking that we are too young or too old or too whatever to embrace what has been there all along. But perhaps we could not see it because it was not yet the right time. And for those of us who practice Aikido, we know that everything is timing. There is a wonderful Zen saying that goes, "When the student is ready, the teacher will come." I believe that this saying could be adapted to fit Chris and Brian. When they were ready, they came to each other. And because they are ready, we come to celebrate their mutual recognition of each other to each other. It is important that we bear witness to Chris and Brian's marriage because it validates their love and our love of them. And we share this moment, all of us being bound to each other in the service of each other.
Thank you, Sensei. And thank all of you. You'll see that we are up here by ourselves, but we're not up here by ourselves. We wanted to do it this way because in our hearts we wanted our community, our friends, our family to all witness with us. And later when we do the vows, we're actually going to ask you all to do some exercise and stand up with us. So for right now, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for bearing the heat. Thank you for crowding into here so that we didn't have to sit outside, and for both of us, thank you.
Chris asked me to write a poem for this occasion, and I hadn't met Brian yet. And I sat in my study in El Rito, New Mexico, where I live, in northern New Mexico. And I thought that the poem, for some reason I had a sense that the poem had to be written for everyone, not just for Chris and Brian. And since meeting Brian yesterday and being with Chris and Brian together, I really am glad I had that sense. So it's really a poem for everyone here who crosses boundaries and becomes new again. I see the old caldera with all that space between two mountaintops. What was once one mass of solid rock is now only cloud-filled expanse. The light behind the clouds informing that space caused by volcanic eruption. How what was one became two, and even though we can't see it, the mountain is still there. We put it back together again. With our good imaginations, we take two mountaintops, fill in the space between with magma and lava, and make the mountain one again, and make ourselves one.
May your marriage shelter you. When you come home, may all the weight of the world fall from your shoulders. May your heart be tranquil, blessed by the peace the world cannot give. May your marriage be a safe place, full of understanding and acceptance, where you can be as you are, without the need of any mask of pretense or image. May your marriage be a place of discovery, where the possibilities that sleep in the clay of your soul can emerge to deepen and refine your vision for all that is yet to come to birth.
I cannot live without you. Do not live without me.
Let us share this joy.
We are word and meaning unite.
You are thought, and I am sound. May our nights be honey sweet to us. May our mornings be honey sweet to us.
May the plants be honey sweet to us. May the earth be honey sweet to us.
If there was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good, that was my dad, the man. A human being so true he could live like a king, 'cause he knew the real pleasure in life, to be devoted to and always stand by me, so I'd be unafraid and free. If there was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good, that was my dad, the man. To be devoted to and always stand by me, so I'd be unafraid and free. If there was ever a man who was generous, gracious, and good, that was my dad, the man. Nice song.